Yo, welcome to another episode of In Space here with Chris Connor. I'm your host. To the left of me, we got my co-host, your favorite Uptown hero, Lito. Lito was good.
Man, I'm happy to be here. I'm here with two legends. You know what I'm
Lito,
saying? What's
we
up?
got a legend though.
Nah, this different. Like,
Nah, Lito.
listen, the literary community right now,
Ooh.
they jealous. They up in arms. Like
So look, we got kind of like an introduction here. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So when I say legend, I'm talking multi New York Times bestselling.
One more time.
We talking movie producing.
Ooh, give it to me.
We talking the author of 3 great books that have all tried to be banned.
How many?
3 of them. But then she came back.
What she did?
The Drake of Pelicans Twitter. This was not my doing. I wouldn't call anybody the Drake of anything. These are just what I have heard. And she's also a dog mom.
Yeah. Love.
I don't know how we balance all these things. Yo, we got Angie Thomas on the show today. Angie, what's up?
I've never had a better intro, so thank you.
Yeah.
Oh man, so this is dope. I got a lot of things here notes wise that that we'll get into, guys. Of course, this show to you is brought to you by our sponsors here at DraftKings Sportsbook. But yo, man, we've been following Angie for a while. So let's like break this down, because we're in Pelicans Twitter, we're in our own world. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. We are all in our own world. And then one day, it's like Angie Thomas is a Pelicans fan? How? How did I before we get into like a little bit of like your background, like that's you have been very, I think, important and influential in, like, even before last year, in the growth and I guess like the connection of the fan base and just how available certain people are. How did that happen for you to then be coined some of the the nickname that we talked about in the beginning? How did this all become? Because to me, I feel like it came out of nowhere, and it was like really, it was one of those cool additions that every fan base just doesn't have to cling on to.
Funny thing is, like, I've been tweeting about the Pels for a while. Like I think I tweeted like, yeah, it's been a minute. I was tweeting like back when Boogie was on the team. I was tweeting about the team, and people weren't paying attention because they just thought I was just that author person, And I wasn't connected with like Pels Twitter or anything like that. But I've been a fan like since Hornets Chris Paul days. I still remember the year Kobe won the MVP, and I was very mad because I thought CP3 should have got it. Even though I like Kobe, I named my dog Kobe, but still, I'm still bitter. Rest in peace, Kobe. But no, it's just, I think what happened was, like, I was tweeting, like, this was before Pels got the number 1 pick with Zion. I was tweeting stuff back then. And I think it was like, I remember Shamit he's the one who like retweeted something I said, and that's when it started. They were like, oh, you're a Pels fan, so and then I was going to games too. And it was, and I started meeting people with the team then. Like, I met Griff pretty early on, and Swin and everybody. So it's been like one of those things. I remember Griff retweeting me once, and that kind of brought me into the fold too. So shout out to Griff. Double shout out. I have to say this. Earlier today, not even an hour ago, I text Griff because a family friend of mine, their grandmother just passed unexpectedly, and like the son is 9 years old, and it really did a number on him losing his grandma so unexpected last week. And so I gave my tickets to tomorrow's game to him and his dad, and I hit Griff up, and I was like, look, this kid is coming with his dad tomorrow. Could y'all do anything, for them? So shout out to Griff, shout out to Marche at the Pels. They're going to hook them up and give Lil David a great time tomorrow at the game. So, I mean, when you have an organization like that, every time I hit up Griff and I'm like, yo, when the water crisis in Jackson hit, he was like, we got you. Here's something else too. I'm going to put this out here. Back when the water crisis in Jackson happened early on, the Pelicans sent a truckload of water. Then this last time when it happened a few months ago, again, the water crisis. I'm just gonna say it. The Grizzlies sent a couple of pallets of water and some cheerleaders and they hype man, like, yeah, we taking pictures. The Pels silently on the low sent 2 whole truckloads of water. And now everybody in Jackson's like, oh, we riding with the Pels. Grizzlies came with all that glitzer glam. We didn't want that. We wanted water. So but I just have to put that out there. So yeah, just being in contact with them and then meeting everybody online, it just kind of took off, I guess. Because I get real passionate about stuff. Like y'all know, I didn't really quit.
Which at some point we will go into.
Yeah. They were hot
Which is,
about that too.
but you know what though? It's actually a very important topic segment at some point in which we will get into why you kind of tone down a little bit. Because as Saints fans learned Monday, or a lot of fans were able to see, sometimes it's still for a lot of people the emotional ties that are along with your favorite team. They can drive deep. Lito, what up though?
Man, it's all good. Could you not mention the negativity that is the New Orleans Saints? We not. Look, this is a place of peace right now. We don't.
We'll get back to that. But go ahead,
Angie. I have a question. I didn't know they called you the Drake of Pels. Can you please? Can you shed some light on that?
I don't remember how it started or what. I just remember because I was at a game. I remember which game too. It was versus the Timberwolves. And like I'm sitting right behind the Timberwolves bench and like they were flopping like crazy. And like I went off so bad, like security had to tell me, yo, we may have to put you out. And so somebody in Pell's Twitter saw that and they were like, yo, that's our Drake. That's our Drake. Cause like I was sitting there, I got into it. You know how Drake does, he's at the games, he's talking to everybody. That's kind of how I did. So yeah, I think that's how it started.
So I have before this interview started, I said my wife is insanely jealous right now because we're doing this. I have a nickname for you, right? She wasn't so fond of it, but I'm gonna see how you feel about it.
Oh no.
I'm calling you Angie Most Hated Thomas.
I'll take it. Saying,
you made the list of the most top 10 book bans for the last 3 to 4 years. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. It's been like ever since The Hate U Give came out, especially, it's been banned like at school districts and places. It's funny to me because on one hand, I've had like police unions speak out against the book. On the other hand, I had the FBI talking about they wanted to use the movie for some stuff and wanted me to deal with them, do some workshops with them. I said, I don't do that. I don't mess with this. But anyway, I don't. I'm like, y'all targeted all my heroes. What I look like doing anything for y'all. Anyway, so it's like, it's funny because usually the people who ban it have never read it. Never. They will pick and choose little pieces in the book and they'll post that online and get angry about that. And it's like, have you actually read it though? No, they haven't. They've never read it through. And so it's the funny other part about it is that when you ban a book, you just make some kids want to read it more. So like I get messages all the time from kids talking about they secretly passed my book out at school. Like, you ain't doing nothing. You're just making it like drugs. Like, come on, stop. Like
it's like music. It's like it's a lot like hip hop for the said former rapper. Angie, is that real? Because I've heard a few stories about you being like a real deal former rapper, like for real. Oh, wow. Not even just like inspired, not even just a hopeful, like you were really putting your time into this.
Angie got bars, is what you said.
That's what I'm saying.
I did from like ages 13 till 17. Like I was doing radios, shows. I was doing, I was in a couple of little magazines. I was doing talent shows, demos, all kinds of stuff. I was going at it hard. Like I came this close to working with 3 6 Mafia. Like, crazy stuff like that. And it just wasn't working. And my heart wasn't in it like I like it needed to be. You know, I feel like if you're going to pursue something, especially something like that where so many doors will close in your face, your heart better be in it, or your heart is going to get stumped on and crushed, and you're not just going to want to get back into it. You're not going to want to do it. And if you don't have that passion for it, you know, if that dream isn't really deep down in you, you won't have a reason to keep going. So eventually I was like, this is not what I want to do. I like telling stories. But yeah, like yeah, it was about 4 or 5 years there where I pursued it hard, heavy. But I'm glad I didn't. I couldn't. No, like seriously, like no, I could not be a rapper. Are you kidding me?
So,
Go ahead, Lito.
my bad. You know what? That's Chris. It's funny you say that because Angie, not too long ago, I saw you in a picture standing next to Sanaa Lathan. You were wearing a Thug Life hat.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, if I ever got the chance to talk to you, I want to know, can you give me your top 5 rappers of all time?
Mm. All right, my top 5. I don't base my top 5 on skill necessarily. I base my top 5 on my experiences or my connection to that artist. So, like, you know, top 5 for me, 1 and 2 interchangeable. It's either Tupac or Left Eye because I have, you know, Pac influenced me in so many different ways. My books, 2 of my books named after stuff with him. And Left Eye, I had a story, you know, where I talked to her when I was like 15 years old, like a few months before she passed. And I talked to her on the phone and she told me some things that changed my life as I know it, you know, so she'll always be one of my top. But then from there, I got to go with Andre 3000. And then I will say, I'm going to go with Missy. And that's not, again, it's not skill based. I'm going by, you know, what Missy showed me was how creative you can be. Same with Andre 3000. Like those two are out of the box, you know. And then I'm going to go for 5. I'm going to go with, ooh, that's a hard one.
Come on, last one.
Let's see. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna go NO for y'all. I'm gonna go with Juvie.
Okay.
I was a
I
huge
like that.
I don't think New Orleans realizes how much Jackson, Mississippi is influenced by y'all. Just FYI. So like,
Mississippi, period.
yeah, like I remember first time I heard the Ice Cream Man by Master P. Like I these are vivid memories. So I'm gonna do it like that.
All right. No, I like that.
I mean, I feel like most people, if they grew up in New Orleans, even like I feel like everybody has like a grandmother or an uncle or an auntie that's from Mississippi, or somebody like it doesn't like my dad is from Biloxi, right? So I mean it's literally right there. And at some point before this ends, like we want to actually touch on the situation with Deion Sanders and Jackson State. But before we get there, so you mentioned where you were putting your time in from 13 to 17 in regards to being a rapper. How do you go from that to being an author, to writing, to creating stories in that perspective, but specifically targeting the youth, right? Our youth, telling stories about our youth that are meant for people that look like us and facing things that we see every day. Did you know that that's where you wanted to be, that particular range? With 17 kind of being the I guess the top, or did you start off just being, not knowing where you wanted to fall into, like what category, like how did that journey go?
Yeah, the thing is, like, I loved telling stories. That's why I wanted to be a rapper. But because I wasn't seeing a lot of authors who looked like me, I wasn't being introduced to books by people who looked like me. I didn't think it was something somebody like me could do. I didn't see a lot of Black authors, and especially not a lot of Black authors writing about young people in the hood, you know, going through the things that I dealt with. So I thought the only thing I could do to tell stories was be a rapper. Rappers told the stories I connected with. I hated books as a teenager, and it trips people out when I say that, but I did. I hated them. Like Twilight was huge when I was a teenager, and I couldn't connect with that. Like, you think my mama gonna let me bring home a vampire?
That's real.
No, that's not happening. So by the time I got to college, I was like, okay, I got to figure out what I want to do. And I found a college that was like 10 minutes from my neighborhood, liberal arts school, and they had a creative writing program. And I'm like, I like writing, and I did like too that it wasn't like you had to focus on one form of writing in this program. It was like creative writing as a whole. So I got to go there and I got to study journalism. I got to study screenwriting. I got to study poetry. I got to study fiction, and I fell in love with fiction. And that's when I was like, you know what? Maybe this is it. But still in my mind, I'm thinking, um, I want to write stories. And even then I'm still young. So I'm like, I want to write stories that somebody like me can connect with, but can I write the kind of stories that I want to write? And so I had a professor who really encouraged me to give it a go. And it was while I was in school that I wrote a short story about a boy named Khalil, and a girl named Star. And that short story is what later became The Hate You Give. So it started there. It started in college for me. And it started with a professor telling me, why can't you tell the stories you want to tell? And I think sometimes as a creative, that's all you need is permission from somebody or somebody asking you, why not?
Man.
That so we get quotes like sometimes you can do everything right and things will still go wrong.
Yep,
Like
you got it.
I mean, because like that's really like dope to me just because it again like even in our day-to-day journeys, right? When you were an adolescent, no one would have been able to tell you like, hey, you're gonna be here with multiple books out, you're gonna be behind 2 movies and counting, so on and so forth. It's funny how quotes and like in putting together that book, you found something, you found quote like there's a website that has like the top 20 quotes from like multiple of your books, right?
Wow.
Like I mean, I don't know if you were aware of that, but like that stuff like really stays with people. Were you were you aware that your first book, when you were really kind of changing the landscape of things and inspiring others, were you aware of like how deep that book was, that project was in total? Or was it just something you were just putting together a story and seeing where it would go and kind of, putting your best effort together?
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm still shocked by like everything that's happened with that book. I'm still shocked that it got published because like the whole journey with getting The Hate You Give published was I started on Twitter asking a literary agent, is a subject like this even appropriate for a book for teenagers? And he was like, yeah, I'd love to read that. And he read it and signed me as a client, took it out to publishers, and like 13 US publishers fought for the rights to that book. And so that my
Wow.
life changed from there. I did not expect that. And I'm honestly glad that I didn't, because I feel like with that book, I was able to put myself in it in a way that I probably wouldn't have had I known the magnitude of it. Had I known at that time that it would be big, I wouldn't have done it the way I did it. I would have been holding back. I would have been afraid. And like if you read that book, it is so fearless, because I was so fearless at the time. I was so mad at everything and everybody. I was just like, excuse my language, F it. I censored myself because I thought about it. I don't know.
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I censored myself. I was about to say it, but I know I censored myself. I don't want nobody losing sponsorships. Thank you, DraftKings. But but no. So I was just like, you know what? Forget it. I'm gonna do what I want to do, write it how I want to write it, tell the story I want to tell. And but like once it came out and people were like going wild over it, I was shocked. I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked. It was on the bestseller list for like 300 and some weeks. Like what? I'm still shocked. It's required reading in some places, that it was a movie, all of this and that. So but I'm also shocked by the change it's made in publishing, because you started seeing more books by Black authors, featuring Black kids. And if that's the legacy of The Hate You Give and helping to bring that forth, then great. But I'm glad I didn't know beforehand. Like the best thing I think sometimes we can pray for is, God, don't let me know everything. Because if I know everything, it's a wrap. It's like I'm gonna mess it up. So I'm so glad I didn't know.
That's a fact. Angie, you talk about fear, but like your whole story is legendary. Like, doing some research on you, I found, your mom didn't live too far from where, Medgar Evers, his untimely passing, and there was an instance where it was some violence in your neighborhood, and your mom ended up bringing you to the library the next day and like gave you some words. Can you share those words with us?
Yeah. She there was a shooting in our neighborhood at the park, and me and some kids were at the park, and we were almost caught up in the crossfire. And once my mom found me and realized I was okay, she took me to the library, and she told the librarian, she said, I can't put her on a plane to show her the world. Can you show her some books? Because my mom told me, she said, I want you to know that there's more to the world than our neighborhood in Jackson, Mississippi, than what just happened right now. And I'm very grateful for that, because I don't think people realize, like, when you're a kid in the hood and you don't have much, your world is your neighborhood a lot of times. Like, I know kids in Jackson who've never seen downtown Jackson. There are kids in Compton who've never seen the beach. And it's like you right there,
Right
near
there.
to the beach easily. They've never seen it. There are kids right there in New Orleans who've never seen downtown or something like that, because their neighborhood, their hood is their world. And so the wonderful thing about books is it can show you that there's more to that. And I've taken that and I've run with it, and I'm thankful for her doing that, because it did show me that there's more to the world. Even though I stopped reading as a teenager, as a kid, I loved it. But those books as a kid, they showed me that there was more, and I'm so appreciative of that.
So to follow up on that question, I know, like you said, you didn't read as a teenager, but like, can you give us some of the influential artists that, maybe got you here?
Yeah, my favorite book as a kid was Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry by Mildred D. Taylor. Like, that was the one for me, because it was about a black girl in Mississippi, and there I was, black girl in Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
Right.
But like a lot of my big literary influences are rappers. Like Pac is huge on me. Like, you read my books, you can tell Pac is a huge influence. The Hate You Give comes from Thug Life.
Yeah.
Concrete Rose comes from the rose that grew from concrete. Like, one thing I love about him is that he was so authentic and raw. People will say all the time, oh, he wasn't the best lyricist, blah, blah, blah. Excuse you. I don't care. Okay. What I love about Pac is that authenticity. And you don't always get that. So I love that about him. I love that he spoke his mind. And that's what I try to do with my books. I often say I want to write like Pac rapped.
Mm.
I want to be in your face with it. So if my books are making you uncomfortable, good.
Mhm.
The truth should make you uncomfortable too.
How
That
I,
was a bar.
that was because I mean I wanted to get back into like how does someone, if I got a call and somebody said, hey bro, your podcast is bad, I would be confused, but I would also be excited because I know how this goes. But like, what was the like as quick as you can be with it? Like, what was your first reaction to knowing that something that you put all your time into? And I know it wasn't like, I don't think each book was banned in the same states. The ones I kept seeing with Texas, and of course, and Pennsylvania, but yeah, but for sure Texas. Like, what was your first reaction when you put all this time, you put like a masterful work, like a legendary books, like things that will follow you for as long as you are around, and your family, and then you get a call one day or someone texts you like, hey, like it's banned here in this state or this state.
I was mad as hell. I was because I looked over the article, even though I was told don't read it. I looked over it, and all they wanted to talk about was the F bombs. And I would say there are 89 instances of the F word in The Hate You Give, but the year that The Hate You Give came out, 800 people lost their lives at the hand of police brutality. That number scares me more. So, like, I was mad at the privilege of these people because they're always usually white. And I was mad that you have the privilege to be upset about an F word when I'm upset because people who look like me are getting killed. So I was mad. I was mad. That's it. I mean,
No, I get it.
I'm better about it. I thank God for therapy, but I'm at the point now too where I'm just like, I think what angers me more is the message it sends to young people who see themselves in that book. It's like, yo, your story makes me uncomfortable. Nobody should know about it. I take offense to that. So, I want to make sure the kids who need it get it in their hands. Period.
Lito, you know what's crazy to me?
What's that?
And it kind of I'm fully thinking about it now, and it kind of crossed my mind when COVID-19 first started taking place and we were on a lockdown. So the film eventually comes out for The Hate You Give in 2018. 2 years later, all hell breaks loose. like every like we get the George Floyd situations, and I mean, and even after your book came out, there were a bunch of senseless killings by police to us, right? Was that surreal to you watching 2020 after the film had dropped, after you had already written a book? Like was it almost like, so y'all see what this was about? Can y'all take away these bans, please? Like, can you see this is real? Like,
Absolutely. I think the most maddening part about it to me is that every time another Black person gets killed by police, my book sales go up because white people are looking to read it. And it's like, it shouldn't take somebody losing their life for you to take the time to try to understand. You know, it's maddening to me. And every time it happens, I'm writing big checks to another foundation because I'm like, you gonna give me this money, fine. We're gonna make sure it gets back into the community to do some work. Because I think what's really frustrating too is this has been going on. It's just now we got videos. Now we got tapes, now we got phones and stuff like that. And it's like, it shouldn't take people seeing it happen to make them realize it happens.
Yeah, I mean, for one, like, I just want to say I appreciate the messages in your book. I'm a huge fan of Pac, right? So like that whole one, I'm gonna be honest, like, as soon as at the time my girl, when she brought the book to me, like, I saw the title, I immediately knew what the rest of the phrase was, right? So I'm living through her reading the book. The movie comes out, of course. She's this Angie, we gotta, yeah. So, I just appreciate your work because, it allows little, brown, black and brown girls the ability to see somebody from the trenches and know that they can reach that. So I just want to say I appreciate you for that. But my wife has 3 questions. I gotta ask you these questions. We asked you your favorite author, but like, what she wants to know, what are you reading right now? And what are must-have children's books for raising socially conscious little human?
I'd say get any of the books that Dr. Ibram Kendi has written, specifically the ones for adults. But then once you have kids, get the ones that he's adapted for kids. So like titles are escaping me right now, but like Dr. Kendi is like, he's it. I say anything that he puts out there. One of my best friends just helped adapt one of his books for young people. So you like have How to Be an Anti-Racist or Stamped for young people, Stamped from the Beginning, all of that. He even got one called Anti-Racist Baby. Like.
All right.
Anti-Racist Baby is crazy.
It is. But no, I definitely recommend his books. Right now, I've been reading. What have I been reading? I read. Shoot, I got to look at my thing. You're gonna make me look. I've been reading like Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler because, like, when you're talking about sci-fi, black sci-fi and stuff like that, Octavia Butler is it. And I'm working, like, my next book is a fantasy novel. So I'm like, let me read who's done this kind of stuff before me. So that's who I've been reading lately, Octavia Butler.
I got you. Okay. I'll be sure to pass the word.
Lito, I got another quote for you.
What's that?
And you're gonna be able to put this together, right?
Okay.
You can destroy wooden brick, but you can't destroy a movement. We talk about pails now. This is another quote. This is actually another quote from Angie, right? Yeah. Okay, from the Drake, the Aubrey Graham of Pelican's Twitter. But
that's crazy. I can't keep letting you do that.
Like, it is what it is. We just gotta roll with. I didn't create it. We just gotta roll with what's said out there. Okay, but that quote is dope because it really kind of describes what was last year for the Pelicans team, but Pelicans Twitter, right? The fan base completely kind of really diving back into the team. I think maybe they were a group of diehards that were there no matter what the team did, but last year just brought it just revitalized, I think, the fan base as a whole and made it even stronger, right? But I think it was the core and the folks that were pretty much there from the start that just got tired of lazy takes, bad takes. Perk, we still need that donation. or we need to know that donation was sent. Okay. All right. But yo, so but that leads me to you, Angie. What about last year? What about the movement with the fan base? Even against your therapist's wishes. what what sneaking in the spaces at all different times of night? Crazy. Like we're not gonna see you up there. Like we're not gonna see you up there. But yo,
I be forgetting these shows verified people up at the top.
Yo, Lito,
I gotta switch to my burner.
we will be DMing. She was like, Shh, I'm not supposed to be in here. I'm like,
and you know what? Chris is bad with that because Chris won't pull you to the stage. He wants you to come.
No.
You better just go hide in here, man. You. What? No, but I forgot what I'm about to ask now, man. Nah, but what was your biggest, I guess, observation? The thing that made you the happiest about last year and to where the team is going now, but mainly from the perspective of the fan base and watching it really explode again.
Yeah, it's been great to see everybody, not just to see so many fans. Sometimes you want to say, oh, people coming out the woodwork. I'd like to say, nah, they've always been there. They've just been a little silent. For a fan base that has caught so much flack from like other team Twitters in other cities, we won't name names, who's always, catching blah, blah, blah from other people always talking stuff. And then with the media always talking stuff, this is a fan base that should have been beaten down and it's louder than ever. And I love that. Like, let's just clear the air. My therapist told me I needed to take a break from the Pelicans because every time we went to therapy, I was talking about the Pelicans. And this was before they announced that Zion was injured last season. This was before that. Before they announced he had hurt his foot. This was before. And so every time though, I was like, I just need them to do. She was like, do you realize how much time we spent? Now, mind you, my therapist has season tickets too, and she drives her butt down there 3 hours. But she's like, you gotta take a break. She's like, you gotta, try looking into another team. And so like, I was like, what? Another what? So like, I went to like a Hawks game. Hawks reached out. They done sent me. You saw the hoodie? They sent me. They gave me tickets to a free game, and me and my mama sitting there, and we just like, nice arena, but the fan experience is not like, it's not the same. She was like, I miss my loud New Orleans folks, She like, they up in here like they ain't had nothing better to do. You go to a Pelicans game, Pels fans different. So when I saw on Twitter, I saw just like what you were doing with the spaces. Shout out to you. Seeing what Rail was doing and everybody, it was refreshing because I hadn't seen that with the fan base. As much as I've seen stuff on Twitter, I hadn't seen that like that coming together. Like when JJ Redick said all 12 of y'all, I don't think he knew what he did. And I love it. That's what I've been hoping for this because it's there, So I'm excited for what the future holds for the fan base. I'm excited that the team is paying the fan base back with with success because it's deserved.
Yeah,
man. So building off of that, this current team today, you get a call. This is completely hypothetical, but it could become real. You get a call and you are, I don't know, offered to make a book about the stories loosely based off of two Pelicans players. Who do you pick and why?
I think that's easy. No, it's not. I take that back.
I'm about to say, hold on. I can make it feel
like Jose is number one because Jose's story, like it's still being written, but like, dude just dropped 38. Like, come on, undrafted. Like his whole story, he's got an arena chanting his name. How many undrafted players have that? So that's like one. Two, ooh. You know what? I almost said either B.I. or Zion, but I'm gonna actually say though Hurt because it's something to me about this dude that he spends his free time fishing.
There you go.
You know, like I think
There you go.
I think that's like he's like a sci-fi book waiting to happen. Like, what god is he? Like, he's not human, you know. So,
He's a country boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a country boy. Like you being from Mississippi, me being like us being from New Orleans. We all like that's my dad. That's all my dad wants to do is go out, fish, drink a beer, and chill out like by himself. And Miss like in Biloxi, they would go for the weekend. Okay, and people would just sit out on their lawns together. And nobody would come and mingle together. They would all whoever was over at these people's houses would stay there, but they would all as a community kind of enjoy each other's company without really communicating. It was the weirdest thing in the world. It was like there's the phone lines are terrible. You can't call anybody. There's no, but like just the human, I guess, interaction and just like the regularness, if I can, with all of the different distractions and the things that we have available with us through like social media and stuff. It's really like stripped down when you go to some of these places. So yes, to hear of someone who is not 25 yet, so where all he wants to do is drive in his 2018 Dodge, what is it, a Charger or a Challenger, and wants to do nothing but fish, is crazy. It's unbelievable in this world. Lito, how do you feel about that? Do you know anybody like that? Should we start calling him Uncle Herb?
I feel like that only if he's gonna wear the Uncle Barbecue shoes. You know what I'm saying? The sandals, the open toe.
I'd rather him not.
I mean, but he does doesn't he do like the sock flip flop combo or something like that? Like that's early. That's early, Uncle.
He only wears Pelicans gear. He won't buy anything else.
Chris, you telling me you looking at Herb Jones and you don't think he could barbecue? You don't think he could throw down on the grill?
He can barbecue.
I'm pretty sure he can barbecue, and his house is full of toothpicks.
And I bet he can fry some fish too.
And he can fry.
I bet he had good fish fries. I bet.
He can do everything. Angie, I have people in from past Christianity. So like I feel like New Orleans, Mississippi, we are cousins. Like everybody just, you know what I'm saying? It's a family atmosphere. But it's funny. I wanted to tell a quick story. You said something about the JJ Redick and the Pels 12. I ran into JJ in Vegas and we talked about that specifically. And he was like, I didn't mean a slight to the fan base by it. I was just mad at one person. But he was like, I like what you all have done with it. So it's kind of like, it's a catch-22, but I think it's the resiliency of the fan base and now of the team. Like the team is definitely taking on the attitude of the city. But I want to say one thing. I think I started following you around the time. I think you got that Hawks invite, right? And I'm not holding that against you. Like it's still love. You my cousin. But I saw people who were like commenting back to you like, oh, you a Hawks fan now? And you was getting spicy. And I was like, yeah, she's from Mississippi for sure. She definitely from Jackson.
Angie gets spicy on Twitter. She has calmed down today as she has gained a new level of fame and wisdom and is a part of and producing movies. Shout out to On the Come Up that just dropped in September. But yeah, Angie had a period where she go back and forth with anybody. Listen, would you like to talk about that?
I'm petty. Like I remember when the Phoenix series was happening, and I was so mad at Phoenix. I was like, I'm never doing an event there. And the was like, oh no, we're so sad. So I have now made it my mission that I'm gonna be sitting in a room and they're gonna want to film one of my movies in Phoenix, and I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna get on Twitter and say, remember when y'all thought I wouldn't affect your economy? Watch this. I ain't bringing no jobs there for my movie. Nah. So like that's my petty.
That's crazy. First of all, no checks from Phoenix.
No. None. I still I remember taking down one of their fans because I was laughing at the fact that they got wiped out by Dallas. And he was like, well, you only made it to the first round. I said, I know, but the team started out 3-16. They didn't have many high expectations. Your team had all the expectations in the world, and look what happened to them. And he didn't say nothing else. I'm like, that's what I thought. I am petty.
Angie, I started this podcast off by saying you had a new nickname, and I'm gonna say you making it work. Like most hated is it feel normal. I don't know. That's what I got from this. What you got, Kurt?
I'm telling you, I am so petty because like I am in meetings now for my next book for the movie, and I'm like, please bring up Phoenix, please, please, just so I can say, look, LeBron wanted to do some stuff with me, like his company reached out, and I said, is he? I was like, if he ain't gonna make his boy thank New Orleans, I don't want to do nothing with him.
Oh my god.
I love this. I love it. If this was drink champs, give it up for Angie. Give it up for Angie.
I told my agent, I was like, nah, I'm good. So like
this is incredible.
This is
incredible.
This is the best interview I've ever heard. I've been a part of, like anything. This is the energy that I love.
LeBron, I would love to do business with you, but look, man, unfortunately, your teammate is Anthony Davis. I can't do anything for you. Sorry, brother.
No.
Your homeboy need to put pen to the pavement. He needed. Wow, I like.
And you know how crazy that is, Lito. There, Angie has a character named Maverick Carter in a book. That is insane.
Yeah, they asked me too, because they asked me, they were like, did you name him after our Maverick? I said no. Like it was just a coincidence.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had a call with them because they were like, oh, you're an NBA fan? I was like, yeah, I love the Pelicans. And they got so quiet.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh man, these are stories that you only get by talking to people. All right.
These are Jews.
We're gonna let you go with this. So speaking of most hated, I don't know about most hated. I don't think that's for a prime right now. But it's definitely hated.
You ask.
Well, yeah. The Jackson State situation with Deion Sanders. He left, of course, this past weekend to go to Colorado, and Lito, you just did a show with Five in Rock today about or put it out today about that entire situation. Angie, being from Mississippi, what did you think about Deion's arrival, and how do you view it now that he's gone?
As somebody, I didn't go to Jackson State, but both of my parents went to Jackson State. I grew up going to Jackson State games, to Jackson State parades. When I saw him coming, I knew he wasn't going to stay. I knew it. I knew it. I was telling her, I was like, he's not going to stay. He's not going to stay. And I was not surprised, but I was disappointed, more so with how it was done. Like you can announce that you're going. All right, cool. But why announce it the same night, your boys just won SWAC championship, and now nobody's talking about the fact that they won. Nobody's talking about this amazing season they had. All they're talking about is Prime leaving, blah, blah, blah. It all became about him, and there's a video out there you can see where he's at the ceremony for the trophy, and he act like he don't even want to be there. He got a plane to catch to Colorado. And I'm like, that's my issue. It's always, for me, it's the how, not the what. I knew he was going to leave, but how you handle it matters, And then too, you're talking about you're going to do all this stuff for HBCUs. That's what you're all about. But now you're taking all those top players from an HBCU with you to Colorado. What's up with that? Wasn't one of your goals to have NFL players drafted from an HBCU? But you're taking them now to a PWI, So, get your money. I'm not going to be mad. Get your money. Do you? Hey, you may have whatever reason you want to do it. You're a grown man. You don't owe anybody an explanation, but no, you probably don't need to come back to Jackson. Listen, no, when I tell you I'm petty because my city is petty, like LeBron, speaking of LeBron came to Jackson in like 2004, and he was supposed to meet some kids, and he dipped out quick, didn't shake any of the kids' hands, took one picture and left. Folks in Jackson hadn't forgot that, and that was almost 20 years ago.
Jeez.
They ain't gonna forget what happened with Prime. So it's the how you do it.
It's always right. Like it's always the tonality, the message with everything that you do. It's not necessarily like, what you're doing. And it's so crazy because if you look at his son, Shador, he looked like he was heartbroken to leave. Like he didn't want to leave the field at all, right? So you get, you know what I'm saying? You got both. It's always 2-3 sides to an argument, just depending on like, you know, where you sit. That's your reality of it. So I don't know. The only thing for me, Prime is Prime is Prime. Like Bomani said this morning, Prime told us, he's been telling us for 30 years that it's only one him. So like now you expect somebody else to come in there and build that up and keep that, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. Peace. I like to say prayers to all parties involved. I'm wishing the best to everybody.
Yeah, that's probably.
And Brett Favre should be in jail. I couldn't even do what I was
saying. Yeah.
Man, to the big house.
Angie, how many years should Brett Favre be in a? I mean, it got to be a Mississippi jail too.
Yeah, he needs to be in there for life.
Oh,
he needs to be like Martin and Eddie. Life.
And ain't no getting out at the end.
No getting out at the end. Him and Phil Bryant, all of them for life. And I remember I saw the other day DL Hughley posted something talking about folks in Mississippi more mad about, you know, Prime than Brett Favre. No, we could be mad about both. We got enough to go around. Promise you. We mad about it too. Yes. So no, that but you know, it's not shocking. I think that's the thing about it. I'm not shocked. First off, it seems so random that Brett Favre was involved, but I'm not shocked at the politicians who were involved. So
Brett Favre's a real scumbag, and I'm wishing heavy jail time on a guy. I hope that the people not the people, but the authorities in Mississippi do the right thing, because I can't think of the woman's name, but the lady and her son, they got sentenced already. They doing time. We just need Brett. I just need them silver bracelets on Brett. I need him in the longest yard Mississippi prison edition.
That would be another thrown interception.
Sure, there'll be Riggett in there though.
That's crazy. I Angie, this was great. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. You have been great to me. So many others in the community. I appreciate you sharing this time here with me and Lito. This was dope and a very memorable, I would say, experience.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me be petty.
Anytime. Please always come back and be petty. Like we this space is here for you for that.
I got you. I got a list. I will bring my list. Like, you know, if Pels go all the way this year, I got a whole list. I will bring it. I got receipts. Let's go.
All right, y'all. Well, for me, for Angie, for Lito, this was your latest extension hitter in space. You were in. We out.